Fight on. Yeah, I've been waiting for this.
Welcome back to the Bottom of the Pit podcast, where we look to the moon and swap our palettes. I am, as per usual, Mick Whoopi Goldberg, and things are hot to death right now. They are as hot as can be. We're getting so much news, so many trailers, so much cool stuff. And so, to start off this string of secret battles I got coming for you guys, we had to tap into the namesake of the podcast, the Bottom of the Pit podcast. So we are going to hit that Mortal Kombat 1 trailer, and with me, you know I had to bring him back, the one, the only Loboberry Crunch.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh man, I was eating because we eating good this year. Oh my God, fighting game community, we eating good this year.
We are eating so well. 2023 is treating us like the kings kings and queens we should have always been treated as, forever and ever. Amen.
Bro, this year is crazy. There's like, I'm gonna have to need paddles. I'm gonna need new controllers.
Really though, we're gonna hit these press limits on all these controllers that we have now. So this is going to be the first secret battle of the season. We always have a couple. I think last secret battle, what was the last secret battle? Was it when Ultra Instinct and I think it was when Ultra Instinct Goku and the Aftermath. Yeah, Mortal Kombat 11 Aftermath was revealed on the same day. But now we've had hella shit coming up, so we got a lot to cover. So first I want to ask you, just to get this whole thing started, Mortal Kombat 1. How do you feel about the name?
You know what? To be honest with you, I'm okay with it. I'm actually really okay with it because if you think about it, obviously the first MK was just called MK. So I'm okay with the idea that it's called MK1 because this is our reboot. This is our new timeline. Our new, obviously, spoiler alert, our new universe created by Fire God Liu Kang at the end of 11. So hopefully we're not getting any more time travel BS. We're done. It's fresh. It's new. We got a clean slate. And I think the name really kind of puts that series into that next generation of like, now we are shifting gears, and I'm all about it.
I agree wholeheartedly. I do like the name Mortal Kombat 1 because we call the first Mortal Kombat 1 anyway, and Mortal Kombat, just plain Mortal Kombat, was also the name of the initial reboot, Mortal Kombat 9. It's just actually technically Mortal Kombat. So having it called Mortal Kombat 1, I'm with it. And this is exciting because this is not like some contrived reboot, not contrived, but like still, it's not like an in-universe reboot. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's like, this is built from the ground up by, I guess he's a Titan now, Fire God Liu Kang. Not like a Titan, but he's like a god acting as a Titan.
Well, he has the power of a Titan in a sense.
He got the power as a Titan. Yeah. And so it's exciting because now I think I'm sorry, I'm getting excited. I think we talked about this the last time we talked about Mortal Kombat. And I brought up the most exciting part about the entire reboot was Cyber Sub-Zero. Because it showed how different things could really be, even though they didn't really pan that out too well. Seeing the changes already being made to the timeline just from this trailer is exciting to me.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I want to ask you, are you okay with them making drastic changes to characters' backstories this time around?
I think that, especially coming from like, geez, how many decades has it been now?
3.
Like, we're going on 3 decades. Oh my God.
Yes, sir.
I feel so old, bro.
Yes, sir.
Oh my god! Like I said, we were playing these games. We were young boys when they first freshly hit the arcade.
Since before we could dress ourselves, since before we could tie our shoes, since before we could feed ourselves, blow our own noses, we was playing Mortal Kombat.
Like, I'm okay with it because obviously, like, throughout the years, we've gotten little bits of like characters' backstories changing, or like additional details to said backstories, kind of getting altered a little bit. So it's not a big deal to me. To be completely fair with you, I am okay with the slate being wiped clean, with everybody getting a fresh new story, because that's what this is. This is a fresh new story. This is a completely new universe rebuilt by Fire God Liu Kang. Fire God Liu Kang, or a God of Fire and Thunder, whatever they want to call him at that point. I still call him Fire God Liu Kang, but it's rebuilt, and obviously, like, he has lived long enough to see the strifes of many different races, many different people, friends, enemies, rivals, whatever, allies, every single person. And I think that this rebuilt universe with these characters maybe having some alternate changes to their backgrounds kind of is necessary. But what I like, though, is in the trailer we see certain things that still kind of hold on to things from, like, you know, obviously what we know about the certain characters, like still characters that clearly should be connected to each other are still connected. Obviously, like, we'll go into more detail obviously later on, but like, i.e., like Melina and obviously Katana still connected to each other. The Broseph Bros of Sub-Zero and Scorpion now. Obviously, we still see that there's that deep rivalry with like Liu Kang and obviously Shang Tsung, and you know, I like it. I like that there's still a connection. I'm okay with the differences, but I still think it's good, like the way it is. Like, I'm just excited. Like, I just want to see what more lore we're gonna get.
And I feel that, especially with the lore aspect of things, because when it came to the original reboot, is what I'll call like MK9 through 11. When it came to the original reboot, we still had to hold on to what the Midway timeline had for us when it came to how things would change. So certain characters had to be a certain way, certain relationships had to stay the same. But with this like this big new reboot, what's up, Gary? With this big new reboot, anything is on the table, and yet they still did hold true to certain things, like Sub-Zero and Scorpion's relationship, however it is, whether it's antagonistic or friendly. The way the trailer made it seem like it would be like our choice. And then you had Katana and Melina throws a wrench in a lot of things, her existing already. But then again, we don't know what the timeline's looking like right now. We don't know what time period this is right now. We have no idea what's going on yet, to be honest. And I feel like we could talk in circles about the possibilities, just this trailer. Like, I thought when we saw a trailer, it would kind of rein some things in, but not really.
I think that excuse me, I was taking a drink. I think the benefit is like, obviously we see certain characters that we clearly should have already, like, we have our, like, you know, we have our Scorpion, we have our Sub-Zero, but the interesting thing is there's always the chance this is not Hanzo and this is not Bi-Han or Kuai Liang. What if these are two descendants? Because obviously when we left off in MK11, we left off with Fire God Liu Kang coming to the Great Kung Lao and saying that you will be my champion. So I want to assume that we're still in that era, and maybe these are like precursor characters to, you know, Scorpion and Sub-Zero. Obviously, like, Adinians have lived for so long, and they can live for so long. So Katana being in there is definitely not out of the realm of you know, like throwing a curveball in there. It kind of makes sense that she would possibly still be alive then. Melina is definitely a wrench. because I am so heavily like invested now in like how is she here. It's clear that when the trailer opens and shows Katana, she's surrounded by like obviously this beautiful background, so we're assuming this is Adenia. And the other thing too is that like obviously she's got the royal guards and like the people looking like they're worshiping and praising her while she like makes her way through that little carriage that she's in. And then we see her sister there, but we notice that when she looks like she's fixing her mask, we can still see the sharp like teeth of like what would be her Takartan DNA. So it's like, how is she here? Like, what is she? I like the questions. And then obviously one of the monks that we see is Kung Lao. So is this the great Kung Lao? Is this Fire God Liu Kang's champion that we were talked about? You know, obviously he doesn't have the blade on the head, so it's not our Kung Lao that we would have later on. And then we see a second monk next to them.
I think that was Raiden.
It is. It's I was looking into it and they confirmed it is Raiden. So that means that maybe we are that far into the past that Raiden was born, and you know now he's joined, you know, kind of like taking that moniker of like the Liu Kang role alongside of the Kung Lao. So we still get the two monks together. And obviously Shang Tsung is very young looking. Like, dude, I'm like been giddy about this. Like, I'm like feeling like a little kid. Like, you know, what is it?
No, and I'm the same way with Kung Lao. It's hard to say because his hat still looks a little sharp. It's still definitely round, just like the Kung Lao we know. But it could just be a regularized hat. Maybe they did that on purpose to confuse us. It's
possible.
But with Melina, my sure, like the how and like what is she doing there is like it's important, of course. But the question I want to know is why? Why would Melina exist now, for one, and two, in the shape that she's in, and three, why are her and Katana getting along already?
Well, quote unquote. I don't know. She had a mean little stare at her sister.
She had her mean stare, and I'm sure she still has that jealousness that Melina has always had for Katana. But at the same time, they're not trying to kill each other right now. They're sitting in a carriage, 1v1 in the carriage, surrounded by royal guards, which means the guards are also knowingly carrying Melina. So either the only one who knows that Melina is part Tarkatan is Katana and whoever the hell made her. Which could explain why she had her mask on. I guess Katana also had her mask on inside the carriage.
She does, yeah.
So I don't know. Like the why is what intrigues me the most about Melina, because it's like when we get that answer, then it'll put a lot of stuff in place, but we don't have it right now. Because originally the why was, oh, we need more. Shao Kahn wanted a real daughter, so here's Melina. But now, where the hell is Shao Kahn? Shang Tsung definitely came in looking like the big bad.
I love it. I loved it so much.
But here's what I want to ask you. With Shang Tsung, I don't want to say I know for a fact because that's just false, but come on, do you really think Liu Kang remade a new era and kept Shang Tsung in it? Like, you really think he made Shang Tsung again with the same exact power and ability? I don't think so. I don't think so. I'm starting to think maybe we have like, I don't know, like shattered timelines or something like that.
So obviously everything we talk about here is theorizing.
Of course, yeah.
I mean, there's obviously the biggest thing about Mortal Kombat is the attachment to the idea of destiny. Like, one's fate can be determined in many different ways. And in some cases, like obviously what we learned from playing the reboot of MK9, going all the way up to 11, is that certain events for certain characters will always still play out, no matter what you do. You know, that was like obviously something that Raiden kept trying to play with that as much as he could. And if anything, he made things not just worse, but it was almost like he still like it was like the timelines always found a way to fix what Raiden changed. So obviously he was trying to stop the Cyber Initiative, and even though he was able to spare Smoke, you know, in that timeline from becoming cyberized, we still saw, you know, obviously Cyrax, and we still saw Sector. So it's like the fact that they still were cyberized, it was kind of like the universe inevitably was like, no, this is inevitable. There are things that you cannot control. Now, to the point of you saying, like, obviously, did Fire God Liu Kang create and remake Shang Tsung? No, I don't think he did. But he obviously may have not have known who Shang Tsung's parents were. So obviously, he cannot prevent certain characters from maybe kind of being still being reborn. And maybe it's just like a fated thing that Shang Tsung was going to be Shang Tsung. He was still going to be who he was. And, you know, it's just like there are certain things that like Raiden couldn't tamper with. He was a god, but obviously there were still rules, and there are things that are still outside of his control. So again, that obviously, like, you know, maybe for certain characters, like, he made sure certain things didn't happen. Like maybe Scorpion's clan was not massacred by the Lin Kuei. Maybe Sector's father, you know, the original Grandmaster, well, not the original, but like the Grandmaster, because that bloodline is the one that controlled the Lin Kuei for so long. Maybe they did not control it. Maybe, you know, Bihan and Kuai Liang's bloodline controls the Lin Kuei, because obviously, number one is we know that the Lin Kuei were originally not all just cryomancers. They were obviously like assassins from various different like backgrounds and styles, and they kidnapped kids and trained them. It wasn't just like they were just born into it. And eventually, like, Sub-Zero's family and you know, kind of came in, and then Kuai Liang reshaped the Lin Kuei into cryomancers. But like, dude, there's so much. There's
there's definitely so much we could crack into that we don't know, because that would really give Shang Tsung this like such a great purpose that seems like even above Liu Kang, his existence. If Liu Kang created a whole new era of a universe, and it still couldn't keep Shang Tsung away. So it's like, so what higher calling does Shang Tsung have? Is he really just, I'm just so evil I can't be stopped?
Yeah, he's just
or
that
what? Like
perpetual evil that just, like they say, that wherever there's good, there's always evil.
There's always evil, yeah.
It's just like, it's just the eternal struggle that just has to exist.
Yeah, so it's hard to find anything concrete from the trailer aside from how it would pertain to the gameplay in itself. Because I feel like that was a lot of the purpose of it, as opposed to showing off more story things. Because we know it's a new era. We know Liu Kang is still Fire God Liu Kang. And we know Shang Tsung is going to be a big villain. Is he going to be the villain? It seems like it, but we don't know. And we know that some characters that we aren't used to being around in ancient times are there, like Melina. But I feel like the main purpose of the trailer was to give us an idea of what the game, as far as the feel and the gameplay, is going to be all about. So I feel like we should start to touch on that a little bit and circle back to the story if it comes back up.
Yeah, because I definitely have a theory I want to share with you about Melina.
Okay. So when it comes to not speculated, because they dropped a few things, but when it comes to the trailers and how it pertains to gameplay, I noticed this when I was watching it. I think the second time, because I was just kind of geeking out the first time, and the second time when I watched it to analyze stuff, I noticed all the characters were paired off. They weren't exactly fighting each other. They're all friendly, and they were all approached as a team. Now, my first thought that got me excited was, oh, it's just going to be a tag game, because that would be sick, because that's also something we talked about in the last podcast as wanting. But it's not technically a tag game. Mortal Kombat 1 has been revealed as being an assist-based fighter. Similar to, I guess it was Marvel, not Marvel's Capcom 1, but X-Men versus Street Fighter, was it? That had only assist characters, and like you had your main character and then just the assist?
No, I think MVC1 was that as well too. You had your main character and then you had an assist character.
An assist character? Okay. So
MVC2 is the one that you had the 3v3s.
Okay, well either way. So that's really interesting because one, we haven't had a new game like that in a very long time. They either been like full-on team fighters, like Dragon Ball Fighters or MVC Infinite or like Skullgirls. But as far as just having assists, that opens up a lot of doors. How do you feel about MK1 being an assist-based fighter?
I think that it allows the game to progress in a way that so many others kind of have. And this is no disrespect to the formula of MK at all. Like, obviously, like, MK has been MK for as many years as we've had it. You know what I mean? Going on 3 decades. Starting off as a 2D, rounding out around near the end of the midway like timeline as like that 3D, you know, sidestepping abilities, you know, then kind of like rebooting, going back to the 2D style. But like I feel like this is like a fun new mechanic that kind of can change things up in a very big way, but it also can give you that ability to try to like test different things. Like obviously, like what characters blend with better, what characters, like do you want to go the more competitive route and find like the characters that you know would kind of allow you to kind of get those like those W's in like very easily, or you know, even just for people that are playing around, like just being able to see like matchups and having like certain characters work together that you never thought would work together. You know what I mean? Like I like the fact that it's very much advertising. The player has the power in this game. You choose your path. You choose what you want to use and who do you want to use with. And again, that to me that's exciting, because I haven't been excited for an MK game in a very, very, very long time. Like obviously, with the the hype around 11, and then like the very underwhelming like feeling of like, wow, this was all cool when we first started, and then now look how fast it kind of fell off. I think this is what we want. This is like cool. We've never had this before. How is this going to play out?
And that's a very good point and a very good question, because we don't know what the extent of the assists are going to be. Do you just call them in and they do an attack that does whatever and then they leave? Or can you choose multiple attacks? Or what? Does the relationship between your main character and the assist character affect anything at all? Mm-hmm. Since the trailer made a lot of mention of you could be friends or foes or whatever. If you are playing as Sub-Zero, and I don't even want to put this in the air, so I'll say if you're playing as Sub-Zero and you have Frost as an assist, will their antagonism towards one another affect any of the gameplay? Or as opposed to, and I hope this isn't the case, but if you're playing as Sub-Zero and you put Smoke as an assist, where their friendship, assuming this is Kuai Liang, of course, will their friendship affect their gameplay at all?
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see what they do with the assists. And you're right, like some people can be like, oh, I'm going to be competitive. I hate playing as Dairu, but his assist is really amazing. I've always hated Dairu, but his assist is amazing, so I'm going to use his assist, I guess. Mm-hmm. And I feel like we're going to see a lot of that regardless, because that's just the nature of competitive fighting games.
Yeah, you mean all it takes is like that one person locking themselves in their bedroom for a weekend and being like, oh, I figured this out. That's all it takes. But do you have any concerns about character roster now that assists are a thing? Do you have any worries about certain characters not making it as playable characters? So obviously we're gonna get like the nature of the beast. We're gonna get like obviously season passes with like different passes with different characters. I know we discussed this before, but like the one thing I want them to do is give us a good mix of characters, but at the same time, I it's weird to say this, but I actually hope the initial roster is not as huge. Like, obviously, like, you know, I don't want them to only put like, you know, like going back to like the original MK, like only like what we had, like maybe 7-8 characters.
Yeah, maybe.
Like I don't want to be that low. But like obviously, like with what we've seen so far, we have Fire God Liu Kang. Obviously, he's going to be 1. Scorpion, Sub-Zero. So we're at like 3 already. Katana, Melina. That's you know. And then after that, we have Kung Lao, Raiden, and then Shang. And then I don't know if you saw, but they already confirmed basically Johnny Cage.
Johnny Cage, which is also another wrench in things. Like, oh, we already have Johnny Cage. So where are we? Where are we in the world, in the time? Where are we in time right now, where Johnny Cage already exists?
I mean,
as well as Melina.
I think it would be interesting if it wasn't actually Cage. What if it's like, because obviously in the last timeline they established that the Cages are like descendants of like God Slayers or something like that.
Mesopotamian God Slayers.
So what if we get like the ancestral Cage? Like what if it's
named Johnny?
Listen, man, I don't know. I'm throwing things out here. We have nothing confirmed. I mean, if he's called Johnny Cage, then maybe Johnny Cage is the name of the family.
They'll spell it all funky. It'll be like JO apostrophe NIY or something like that.
It's not Johnny Cage. It's Johnny Cage.
Johnny.
But like obviously, like I do want to see a mix. Like I have my favorites I want to see return. Like I want Smoke to come back so bad. I want Smoke. I want Reptile, please.
Of course,
please.
That's my big fear right now.
Give us our scaly homie. And I mean,
surprise.
But the thing is that there's a chance he could be in here because obviously with this universe reboot, and obviously right now we have no sign of Shao Kahn, so we don't know if Shao Kahn will reemerge, at least right now. But you know that means that maybe Reptile's realm was untouched, and we'll get him.
That would be actually very interesting if in this new era Liu Kang stopped the Saurians from being wiped out, or at least wiped off of Zatara.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, if they were still on Earth, then Earth would just be run by the Saurians and not humans. But at least stop Zatara from being wiped out, which would mean not only will we have, you know, Reptile, you know, Sizoth, you know, the Reptile we all know, but we could also be reintroduced to the Chameleons again.
That's true.
Or any new Saurian that we don't know, which I just want a fucking Saurian representative. I'll main any of them. If it's just one, it could be no Sizoth and just Chameleon. I'm going to be a Chameleon main, even if it's the female Chameleon. I'll still be a Chameleon main just because I want to main a Saurian.
Mm-hmm. But that's what's interesting. And actually, now I don't know if you have this on your list of like things we want to talk about, but because the one thing that I noticed is they were very specific to show obviously Edenia.
Yes.
Which means that how is the format for the Mortal Kombat tournament going to be this time around? Like, obviously it's supposed to be like it was originally obviously like, you know, almost like everyone basically on Shao Kahn's like forces. But like, is this now like a realm versus realm tournament? So like you said, what if Reptile's realm was never just wiped out? What if they were never wiped out? So what are we going to get, like a representative from his realm, or
for the tournament?
Like, exactly. Like how is this all going to play, and how is it going to work? Because obviously we have 2 realms that we've already had confirmed that we've seen, but then there's the wrench of Shang Tsung. Like he comes in and it looks like he's coming in from obviously a portal from some other realm. What if Shang Tsung is not from Earthrealm at all? What if he's from another realm altogether? Like what if he is from Netherrealm or somewhere or Chaos Realm? We don't know.
That was a very strange portal he came out of mostly black with like the red swirls, if I'm remembering correctly.
I got the picture up right here, and
it's always been like orange. The portals that they came out of.
You know what it kind of reminds me of? It looks like it kind of looks like a volcanic like smoke, like the top of a volcano. There's a lot of fire you can see within the details of the clouds. A lot of orange and like bright orange, but like deep reds and black. So, you know, like what if he comes from another realm, and that could kind of explain his existence.
We really got our tinfoil hats on here. Right, look at the color of the fucking portal. That's just crazy. He's got to be coming from somewhere else.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't he learn the art of soul stealing originally from Shao Kahn?
Yeah, from Shao Kahn.
So.
Which I guess I mean Shao Kahn he's got to be around then, right?
He has to be.
Unless he learned it from somewhere else, which is a possibility in the new era.
That's true too.
But,
I mean, still, obviously, we don't know.
We don't know where we are right now in this new era's timeline. I think is where we are in our confusions. But here's another thing we have to take into account when we think about the Mortal Kombat 11 trailer, where Dark Raiden was fighting Scorpion and he killed that Scorpion, and then we got past Scorpion coming in to kill Dark Raiden.
Mm-hmm.
I had jack shit to do with the story. Raiden and Scorpion never fought, I don't believe, and they definitely didn't fight, to the death or anything like that. And he definitely didn't get tag teamed by both the Scorpion's future and past self. Mm-hmm. So I think we may be reading too much into what the trailer's trying to say about the story, because with the MK11 trailer, what they showed was the fatal blow. They showed Raiden's fatal blow and Scorpion's fatality, and the fact that we're going to have a timeline story, a time travel story, by having past Scorpion show up after present Scorpion was killed. With this one, I feel like we should be looking at it the same way. What's it trying to say about the overarching package of the game? We got the assists, the quote unquote cameo characters with a K. And we have Shang Tsung, who's back and just killing everyone.
Yeah, right.
Just fucking killed everyone, and the game is as brutal as ever. I didn't think it could get any more violent than Mortal Kombat 11 was, but goddamn.
At least some of the fatalities also that they kind of showed off look more like not too over the top, because I felt like MK11 went too far. I was like, come on, bro. You got people playing with intestines and still murdering people when they're clearly dead already. It's like, all right, you split their head open. Stop.
Well, Shang Tsung's got these cool little blade gauntlet things now. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Shoot, I don't quite remember what my point was.
I get what you're saying. You're saying, like, obviously, we should still take the trailer for
as
what it is with kind of a grain of salt.
Right, because it has nothing to do with the story. The trailer, I don't remember if the original, I don't think it really did. Or maybe it did at the very end. I think it did show off Kronika at the very end. Or that was a different trailer that showed off Kronika.
That's true, too.
Anyway, we didn't get any aspect of what the story is going to be about whatsoever. We didn't know where we are in the timeline. We didn't know what characters would be the main characters or anything like that. Who even the main villain was, aside from... Damn, I really don't remember if Kronika showed up in that very, very first MK11 trailer.
No,
I don't think she did. I don't think she did. So we didn't even know who the main villain was. So for all we know, this trailer is just like, listen, we're in the new era. All these characters are going to be paired up because it's an assist fighter. And Shang Tsung and Liu Kang are still at it. And I feel like those are really the only 3 points we can truly take out of this. Everything else is like fan service or just showing off certain settings, like Adenia, which looks great. You know what I'm saying? And to show that things are going to be different this time around. But the specifics of it, I believe, we're way too early to tell, and they've kept it intentionally vague.
No, I can hear you on that one. I mean, to be fair, like obviously, like MK10 also had that same trailer where it was kind of like it was Scorpion versus Sub-Zero in the woods, and obviously, like it ends with Sub-Zero getting gutted by Scorpion.
Right, like always.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm like, yo, what is with y'all? I get it. You guys have like this weird like boner for fucking Scorpion, but like, come on, leave Sub-Zero alone. Let him kill somebody else.
And in that trailer, they showed off a lot of the environmental interactions, which was a big part. Which was like the big push for MKX was, oh, now you got all these environments, kind of like how Injustice had.
Yep.
So. But we couldn't really look into, if we started to look at the MKX trailer, literally, we'll be like, oh, this story is going to be about the war between Sub-Zero and Scorpion.
I mean, it could also be that maybe those trailers were more or less just to kind of get people hyped about watching two characters fight, so it kind of revealed the game. I mean, again, like we said, at this point, everything's just a theory. We don't know. We could also be so wrong, and they're like, no, this trailer is literally showing stuff that's very story based. Like this stuff is going to be a thing. Like we could be also true on the other side.
This is the first trailer where characters weren't actually fighting each other though. Like Shang Tsung came in and he just like killed everyone. No one fought. No one was able to fight back aside from fucking Liu Kang. But there's no actual like quote unquote fight. Liu Kang one-shotted him and then killed him. And then after Shang Tsung came in and just killed everyone instantly.
Curve stomp my boy Sub-Zero.
God, the mother of all curve stomps.
I was like, golly, come on, can y'all stop killing Sub-Zero in every trailer?
I was surprised they did Katana the way they did her.
Oh yeah, with the eyes.
Like eyes. I was like, oh, Katana like that? Because on her trailer, they treated her like she was some type of like she was like the royalty in like the MK11 trailer. She had like her own little like cool little thing for that one.
Yep.
And then here we're introduced her in the trailer and she gets her eyes gouged out immediately. I'm like, damn, y'all pulling no punches this time around. Everyone gets it.
And I guess that's just to kind of remind everybody that maybe, hey, don't forget, this is still Mortal Kombat.
We're still Mortal Kombat. And the crazy part is, like, I kind of almost forgot. When people just started dying, I was like, God damn. I was like, and then I had to be like, oh yeah, this is fucking Mortal Kombat, isn't it? This is like the longest, because straight up, this is the longest I haven't consumed Mortal Kombat. Like, I watched, like, even when I was done playing Mortal Kombat X, I still watch hella MKX tournaments. So it's just like, and then, but with MK11, as soon as, like, I, like, was bored of MK11, like, pretty faster than any other MK game, I didn't even, like, even the tournaments were boring to me, so I didn't even watch tournaments. So I haven't consumed Mortal Kombat in years at this point.
Since 2019 is when it started, April 23rd, 2019.
So that was like, so it's been a long time since I've consumed any Mortal Kombat. So seeing it back, seeing this trailer and seeing the vines, I was like, God damn. I liked it though.
Dude, I loved it. I loved everything.
I liked it though. That was a good ass trailer. But to talk more about Mortal Kombat 1 as a package, they announced, of course, let me just get this out the way because this is like the biggest nowadays. Rollback netcode, of course. We don't have to dwell on that because that's of course, everyone should be doing rollback. It's not an announcement anymore. It's good, whatever. I think fighting games don't even have to tell us it's rollback anymore. I want to talk about the combat pack. They announced that there would be a combat pack that had 6 characters, playable characters, and 5 cameo characters, which is the assists. For this first pack, at this point it's impossible to say who it is because we don't even know what the full starting roster is. So it wouldn't really make sense to ask who you hope is in the combat pack because we don't even know what the roster's going to look like. But I want to ask you, Well, let me start off by saying this. The first combat pack in Mortal Kombat 11, half of it was guest characters. Are you hoping for something similar here, or are you hoping for more guest characters, less guest characters, or what?
Less guest characters.
Less guest characters.
Now, it's just because I want it to make sense, if that makes sense. Like, I want it to make sense for the characters to be that they're going to be in here, are going to be in here, you know?
Yeah, I feel you.
I'm not going to lie to you, I was heavy against the guest characters that they had in the last one. Like, the weird 80s combat movie stars and stuff. Like, I didn't care about RoboCop. I didn't care about Rambo. I didn't care about the Terminator. Like, to me, like, when they had I guess we'll go back to like 9. Kratos completely makes sense. Bloody god that murders other gods, like, makes sense. It was fun too. Freddy, very weird choice to throw in, but at the same time, not really out of the realm of possibility. Like, 100% belongs within that universe. You know, interdimensional character, obviously. So, like, you know, still fits the supernatural thing. Then we go to X. All of them made sense. They were all serial killers, murderers, monsters, and like all of it made sense. You know, I don't think there was a stretch of like Melina fighting fucking Predator, or Alien versus like obviously like, you know, Scorpion or something like that. Like, all that made sense. It seemed fine to me because they were fun, and they were the characters that looked like they matched with those characters. But like the last one, I was just like, ugh. Like, I got Joker, because Joker, obviously, you know, with the Injustice thing, Injustice had Sub-Zero and Raiden, so let's throw Joker in here. And then we had Spawn, which, I mean, I loved Spawn being in the last one. That made absolute sense, and I love the fact that there's so many connections between him and the Injustice world. Like, his lines with Raiden when he was like, he's like, you remind me of another Dark Knight. And he was like, the billionaire playboy, he's a friend. And I was like, oh, I like that. But this time around, I just want them to make sure there are characters that make sense, but also don't shaft us on characters we want. It took forever to get Melina back into 11. It didn't make any sense for her to have been absent for as long as she was. Again, fan favorites, give us Ermac back, give us Smoke, give us Reptile, like the characters that clearly were like they're the common face characters in MK. You know, if you guys gonna throw some new characters in, cool, that's fine. Just don't listen to the fans, please.
Just once, please.
Just once, please. Ed, I know you're listening to us.
This might be a bit controversial. But I think all ninjas are required to be playable in Mortal Kombat games.
I'm not against that. I'm with it.
I think all the ninjas, you know, that we've grown up with, it's kind of like the main character, the main, like, you know, the core characters of, say, Street Fighter. Who are the definites in Street Fighter? We have, you know, Ryu, Ken, Chun-Li, Guile, Cammy, you know, the original World Warriors. Should always be in there unless you're doing something completely, you know, ass backwards, which this isn't. So I just feel like having some ninjas absent for so long isn't, I don't want to say isn't right, because that's like extreme, but it doesn't feel good. Because Mortal Kombat for a while was defined by its ninja characters.
That's true.
I know they want to flesh them out, but they ended up fleshing a whole bunch of them out and then dropped them in MK11 when we had almost all of them for the most part in Mortal Kombat X. I think the only one that didn't make it as a ninja was Smoke, but he came back as Triborg. We even got Tremor, who was a new ninja.
Mm-hmm. All I'm saying is, how did Rain make it into 11 and Reptile and Smoke were still left out? And Ermac!
Rain wasn't an X. Yeah, for real. So they really cut out Smoke. and Ermac and Reptile from Mortal Kombat 11, but we got Rain back again as DLC. Again, for the second time in that in this past, I guess it's like a past trilogy now. In the Netherrealm trilogy. It just didn't feel good not seeing all the ninjas there, but we had all these fucking guest characters like Terminator and RoboCop and Rambo. So I feel you. Make sure we get all these good characters and then do whatever you want with your guest characters after that.
Yep. I think that's the only reason why I felt like the guest characters were just so underwhelming. Because we were missing so many characters that we really wanted back in the game, and we just didn't get them.
It definitely felt like a WB move to me, having all these guest characters.
Well, I mean, I think like you could correct me if I'm wrong, but I guess like it kind of makes sense only because of the fact is maybe some of those series were celebrating like anniversaries and stuff like that around like that time. I don't know. I mean, obviously we're going back to like these 80s characters, and you know, we were going into 2020 at the time, so like it makes sense maybe for like anniversary sake.
I could see that.
But it's like that's the thing that I don't like though. It's like, so from a marketing standpoint, you're going to give us characters just because it's their anniversaries, but you're not going to give us characters of people we want to play as that we've been missing for so long.
Yeah, it's very like anti-fan, right? Like, like, who are you trying to appease with these characters? It can't be your fans. Like, your fans definitely don't give a shit about Rambo and RoboCop. Maybe Terminator. Like long-term Mortal Kombat players might appreciate Terminator, because Midway made a Terminator game way back in the day. So maybe. But RoboCop and Rambo, come on. Who's that for? Who's that for, really? Not us.
Yeah, really.
But anyway. So how do you feel about them also having the cameo characters as DLC as well?
I guess like it really doesn't really bother me. I mean, obviously because we're going into like the way things are moving forward. Obviously, like things are going to change. Things are going to have new things. So I guess like I really don't have a judgment on it until we see something. And obviously we're probably not going to see anything. So this game's dropping what, in like September? August, September? I'm trying to think.
September 19th.
September, okay. So we're like what, about 4 months away, you know, from the release. And my assumption is that we're probably going to get like another reveal maybe in like another month of like maybe a little bit more stuff. So I guess like around then we could always circle back to that question. I mean, I really don't have an opinion yet. I mean, the only real not crazy, but like only other thing they announced was obviously the edition. So they obviously announced like the standard edition, and then the ultimate edition, and then there's the collector's edition, which unfortunately is where I'm gonna buy it.
I mean,
I'm a sucker for statues.
That Liu Kang statue is sick as hell.
It is, and I still have I bought the collector's edition of 9, so I have the Scorpion and Sub-Zero like bookends, and I think the only one I missed out of the original, out of the trilogy we just had passed, I think it was 10. I didn't get the 10 one. I did get the 11 one, and like yeah, I'm gonna buy it. I'm a sucker for it. I can't help it.
Don't help it, man. Do what your heart wants to do.
Damn you, Netherrealm! Damn you, Netherrealm, and your cool collector's editions.
Speaking of cool things, I think it's mad cool that they are going to have a Jean-Claude Van Damme skin for Johnny Cage.
Yeah,
I think that's hella sick. And for the listeners who might not know why that's sick, since we just shit on all of these action heroes about 5 minutes ago, The reason why it's so sick that Jean-Claude Van Damme is going to be a skin for Johnny Cage is because the original Mortal Kombat was initially supposed to be a Bloodsport video game, I believe, featuring Jean-Claude Van Damme as the main character, as Johnny Cage. That's why Johnny Cage looked so much like him in the first game before being like revamped into who he was, who he is now. So having a Jean-Claude Van Damme skin for Johnny Cage, it's just like it's mad fucking cool. It's mad tight. That's true fan service right there. They want that's like the equivalent of getting the Shang Tsung actor to come back for MK11.
I'm not gonna lie, there's a part of me that's kind of sad that we're not gonna see that skin probably again, or just hear him voice him again. Like he did such a fantastic job.
Well, maybe he will come back. Maybe he'll voice this new Shang Tsung. He didn't speak at all, right? We don't know.
No one spoke except Fire God Liu Kang. That was the only thing. Like he has like a line, but it's like a one line. That's it. So it's very possible. I mean, he's very young, so this is a very young Shang Tsung. So that's, who knows? I don't know. Who knows? We could. Also, I kind of find it funny that we're getting that skin because I started laughing about it when I saw that, because I was like, bro, I get it that the original MK was supposed to be like a Bloodsport game, but I'm like, you know what's even funnier? Jean-Claude Van Damme played Guile. He was in Street Fighter.
That's true. I didn't think about that.
It's a rival game.
Oh my god, I didn't think about that. That is hilarious. Damn.
The irony of the situation right there.
Also, Mortal Kombat 1 is next-gen exclusive, which I'm for 100%. We have been, well, I guess not next-gen, we're in current-gen. PS5, Xbox One, PC, and the Switch. I don't think I've ever played them. So I couldn't imagine a game of such high fidelity running well on the Switch, but that's neither here nor there. I'm happy.
It can play well on the OLED, if anything, not probably on the base model, though.
The base model, yeah, I imagine so. I'm happy games are starting to just be current gen. PS4 has been out the door for about 2-3 years now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's time to move on. We cannot keep releasing PS4, PS5 games. Because PS5 isn't hard to get anymore. It's not like how it was when it first came out. Now you can just go buy a PS5.
Mm-hmm.
So PS4, I love the PS4. PS4 has served me very well, but it's time to rest. And PS5 has been here for a while, and these companies need to just be like, listen, either level up or
don't,
you know. So it's just like, let's move on. We got to move on now, so they don't have to change anything about their games to make sure it can run on old tech.
No, I'm all about it. I mean, I've always said that when it comes to the next gen games, or like when any next gen system gets released, it should be about at the max like 2 years. 2 years for companies to still like create those things, crossovers and stuff. And you know what? To the benefit of most of them, they still gave us, like, if you bought the base game for like a PS4 or an Xbox One, you got like the next gen upgrade if you played it on a next gen system. So when you got the Xbox whatever, what is it, not the One X, what is it called now? Xbox One X, yeah, Series X. I'm sorry, Series X. So I'm sorry, Xbox, you're terrible at naming your system.
Yeah, their name they're chaotic.
It's stupid, but yeah, if you got the Series X, if you bought the one that you bought the game for the Xbox One, and then you upgrade your system to the Series X, you don't have to rebuy the game. You just got the upgrade, which is good because it's like buying the game on both systems. The only thing that I said that I didn't like was the fact is, like, for years, like, they didn't reward next gen buyers. Like, it wasn't like they got like an extra incentive or anything. Like, they just basically got the PS5 version of the game. Like, when I bought Miles Morales, there was no difference between Miles Morales and then putting it on the PS5 version. When I plugged it up, it was like, oh, you have Miles Morales on PS4? Cool, here's the PS5 version. And it's like, cool, I get all the benefits of the 5 version, but I didn't have to buy it. It's dumb. But I think that it's been 2 years, going maybe a little more than that at this point. And we're living in a time where those next gen consoles are available. I think it's time to take advantage of the hardware. You know, the whole point of the 5 and the Series X is supposed to be, I mean, if they won't fully combat the PC, like, you know, system itself. I mean, obviously, PCs can be upgraded at any point in time and just continue to keep getting upgraded. But it's supposed to combat like that ability of like frame rates and ray tracing and all those advantages you get with a PC version versus that console version. So, and obviously I feel like they hold back when it comes to putting these games and giving them like the max amount of stuff. And it's good, like, you know, especially for a fighting game, dude. Like, you want these graphics to be gorgeous, and by golly, these are gorgeous.
Yeah, they look great.
Oh my gosh, it's
They
gorgeous.
look amazing. I can only imagine what it's gonna look like in game.
Like the blood in the trailer looked like insane. Like, it's such a weird detail, but it's
Right,
not
this
like,
shit was chunky.
yeah, like I hated the way that was. That is so weird. You know when you say certain words with other words, you like when you say it with like the context of it, you're kind of like, before it's like, oh yeah, this peanut butter's chunky. All right, it's cool. Oh, that blood is chunky. Like, oh. But back to the point, like
It was.
like even looking at the stills, like I have the stills up right now on my PC, and they just looked so good. The detail, the way the lighting is, I could see the sweat off of like Sub-Zero's forehead, and like just the way he like stares down Scorpion, the shine in Katana's hair, the gleaming of the light off of Melina's mask. Like this is gonna make that look even better, and this is gonna get me more excited to play that game.
Oh, yeah. I'm I just want to see gameplay, and I want to see it in action. I want to see it with my eyes, man. Like on my screen, I want to be playing this game already. You know, I don't even know how it plays.
When's the demo? When's that supposed to? When's
in August? So a month before the game drops.
Oh, come on! Give it to us before that.
Oh, they're not going to do that. Street Fighter is about to dominate all of summer.
Really, it is. Like, give us like a early access, like maybe next month. Give us like June.
Well, it's August.
They're gonna change it. Watch they change it. They're gonna be like, by the way, we changed it. It's in June.
Surprise!
Bottom of the Pit podcast.
We've been listening, and we've decided that we're doing it right now. We're dropping it right now.
Dude, honestly, there was a part of me that kind of was hoping after the trailer dropped that we were gonna get that, because that's what they did for Street Fighter just now. They were just like, oh, by the way, the beta is live. Go get it. And we were like, wait, what?
Let's go.
I hopped on my PlayStation, downloaded that so fast.
I don't have many more notes since it was just a trailer. But I do want to bring up something that I saw that actually was important to me, and that was to play this game offline. You do not need an online connection. You do not need internet to play this game online at all. Which is that you don't need an internet connection to play this game offline at all. Which is not something I thought I would have to celebrate, since 99.9% of fighting games allow this. But MK11 did not. And that was fucking annoying.
Yep.
Because not everyone has good internet. Not everyone has internet. Not everyone can afford that shit. And if you bring it to a convention, say, and you don't have internet on your PlayStation, you cannot play the game. You can sit there and stare at the cool main menu screen or whatever.
Yep.
Fuck that.
That was such an annoyance.
But this is good. You don't need internet to play offline. I'm not giving them points for that. As much as I love Netherrealm and Mortal Kombat, they're not getting any points from me for that. But it is important that this is how it's going to be. I can just boot it up and just play Mortal Kombat, because Mortal Kombat 9 dropped, and then PlayStation Network was immediately hacked soon afterwards, so you couldn't even log in to PlayStation Network, and you were still able to do everything on Mortal Kombat 9 aside from fight online. If that had happened with Mortal Kombat 11, the game would just be a brick.
It would absolutely just destroy, and I mean destroy this game's release to me, because obviously we've held tournaments in the past, and one of the biggest gripes is is something like that happening. Like, you know, like a game that they like, oh yeah, this is a game you totally could, if you wanted to play not online, you could, but guess what? You still have to have an internet connection just to play it. It doesn't make any sense. Especially when we run into situations like, what if there's what if there's like an outage and you can't get on the internet? Guess what? You ain't playing your game.
And you're not playing the game, and that's crazy. That's just crazy.
Yeah, like it's dumb, and it kind of ruins, like, even like I've always had this idea that fighting games in general are hangout games to play. You know, obviously within our circle of group, you know, we've had those fight nights and stuff like that with Tekken and Street Fighter and Smash Brothers and Fighters and obviously MK. But it's like, you know, one of the other issues that we always had was like just the over amount of stuff that you need to do to like customize your character in MK. You know, with 11, like everyone's styles were different. So it was like, if you're certain people didn't unlock a certain thing, then guess what? You're not playing that. You're not doing that style. So thankfully though, like obviously this is going to be different. It's like you said, it's a weird victory to celebrate. It shouldn't be a victory. It should just be like, yeah, you can definitely play this game offline.
It should be a no-brainer, right? Like, it's just, you should be able to play your fighting game offline. Because
listen, we live in a weird world right now, so it's hard to say.
We really do. This is not it's not like a MMO or like a battle royale or anything like that. It's a fighting game, 1v1 most of the time. I guess it'll be 2v2 with an assist for this game, but still, it shouldn't be like, oh, you can play offline without internet connection. It's like, yeah, duh. What, next thing you're going to tell me is that this game's got rollback netcode? Duh.
Oh man, yeah. No, I mean, it's such a like a dumb victory, but you know what? Like, just
we'll take it, I guess.
Go ahead. Well, cool. Thanks. We'll appreciate it while we can.
And just to cap it off, if you pre-order Mortal Kombat 1, Shang Tsung is your pre-order bonus, as opposed to being DLC 1, which I like a lot. And you also get access to the beta. And I believe you get access to the game like 5 days early or something like that. So there you go. You get some incentives to pre-order the game. And that's it. That's it. Nothing more that we have as far as pre-orders go. You already broke down all the the editions, the premium, the regular, the collectors, all that stuff. So
I got a question for you.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to switch this on, put you in the hot seat.
Oh damn.
Are you ready?
Yeah, okay, let's hear it.
I want two things. Two things that you kind of like, these may not be in the game, but like two things that you really want to see in the game. And I want two things you absolutely, whether it be a character or like a game mode, two things you absolutely don't want them to bring back.
Oh shit! Is for the things I want to see are characters off
No,
the
you
table?
can do characters. You can do characters.
Oh, okay.
Just two big things that's got you just like, yes, I need these 100%.
I need these. Okay, I dig it. So first, to state the obvious, I need Reptile. At this point, like, I don't want Reptile. I need Reptile in my life, or I will die. I guess that would be number one. I just need let me scratch that. I want a Zaterran of some kind. I'm happy to play as the main Chameleon, like I said earlier. I would love Reptile, of course, but just getting a Saurian representative, I would be happy with.
Okay.
And then second, that's hard. Of what I really want. I guess not hard, but I think I want. Damn.
It's got you thinking, huh?
It's hard. I think I want a gear customization system. I think I want that. No stats or anything or moves. Just I think I would like to customize the way my character looks.
Okay. I like that a lot. I like that one a lot.
I think I want that. Would I put that like on top? If it's not in the game, I'd be okay. So maybe it's not a good answer.
No, it's okay. I think it's a good answer. I think you got something there.
Yeah. But
who doesn't want to have a unique look for their characters?
I would want that. I would want to be able to customize the way my characters look. I don't need to change their moveset or anything like that. I want a fully fleshed character, but I would want to be able to customize the way they look. And as far as things I don't want, I don't know why I'm having trouble with that as well. That should be like a no-brainer, right? I don't want fatal blows to come back. No, scratch that. I feel like they could rework fatal blows. I don't want breakaway to come back. What's up, Gary? I don't want breakaways to come back ever again in my whole life. And what else do I absolutely not want?
If you want, I can give you mine while you.
Okay, yeah. Let me hear yours.
Okay, so number one, I'm gonna make mine a character just to match yours. I want Smoke back. I loved Smoke so much, especially in MK9. I never thought I'd end up maining Smoke in like 1,000 years, and I ended up maining him hard in 9. He was such a fun character. I loved his backstory. I loved his character. Just everything about him was cool. So I was like, I want Ninja Smoke. I want Lin Kuei Ninja Smoke, not a cyberized version. Please give me back my man. Or if you end up giving me cyber version, fine. Give me a skin to put him to look back to the old one. I'm fine with that. I loved it. So give me that. That's number one. Number two, and this is something I've been thinking about for a while. I've been paying attention to what Ed Boon has been saying on his Twitter a lot for like the last year. And this man keeps asking questions about a Shaolin Monks game or a Shaolin Monk mode. Give us a Shaolin Monk style version of the game. Like, I don't even care if it's not part of the main game. Like, Tekken did something similar where like I think it was like a Tekken 3. We had like a side-scrolling Streets of Rage style mini game mode. I think it would be fun to have like a random game mode where it was like a Shaolin Monk style. You know, I would be okay with it. I think that it would be fantastic. Even if we don't get like a Shaolin Monks 2, then give us a game mode that might be kind of similar to it. We could have like this is next gen, so you could do a lot with that. So we could have the story mode, we could have the Shaolin Monk style mode, which it would be cool to even see because it could give us like a backstory of like Fire God Liu Kang leading Raiden and Kung Lao. So I think that would be amazing.
Yeah, and the emphasis on teamwork can make it a good co-op experience.
Beautiful, just wrapped up with a bow, ready for Christmas. It's perfect.
Ready for Christmas.
Two things I don't want.
Yeah.
Don't you bring anything about Chronica or time travel or anything into this fucking game. We are in a new era. If you want to reference things, fine. That is okay. But I swear to God, if I hear Chronica's voice pop up on that game somewhere, I'm throwing it out the window. To the great beyond. I'm like, nope. You guys
to the old era.
To this time travel bullshit. I'm over it. That is number one, don't do. Number two is, and this one's gonna be a silly one. Don't make too many clone characters. It's unfortunate that obviously like there's obviously characters like take a Street Fighter. At least with Street Fighter, when we had clone characters, back in the day, they get reworked into like their own original like versions of themselves.
Yeah.
So like obviously when we played like Ryu and Ken clearly have the same exact moveset, but they eventually like kind of changed things up where Ken focused more on like his kicks were a lot more deadly than Ryu's, and he was more combo based with some of his strikes versus Ryu was like heavy hitter, you know, his punches, and his Shoryuken was like a 1 strike versus Ken was like 2 to 3 strikes if you hit like a high punch Shoryuken. So, you know, like those characters, like if don't make a character that if we're gonna get like a Frost like in this game, which I don't know, that's a kind of a stretch especially, but like if you give us a Frost, make her slightly different than obviously Sub-Zero. This is obviously still very early on, so we don't know. Or like if you're gonna give us like another Shirai Ryu character, make sure that they play differently other than Scorpion. Don't give us clones. We at this point want our original, either some of our original characters back, or if you're going to introduce new characters, which still would work well, make sure they are not just clones of like another character. I don't want clones. I don't know what it is. I just have this real big thing against clone characters, and it really, really drives me nuts when a character's like moveset is like almost like 85% what another character is, but they're like, oh, but there's like a slight damage ratio difference. No. Don't do that.
I feel that.
If 85% of that character is another version of that character, fucking put a skin on it. Put it as a skin, put a different voice line thing in there, because they obviously can do that. We did that in 11 when they brought back the freaking actors that were in the live action Mortal Kombat to take over the characters as skins and voices for the characters in 11. Because I'm not gonna lie to you, I was very, very excited to hear the Sonya Blade live action over Ronda Rousey Blade.
Oh yeah. I think that was everyone's. Everyone's like, "Thank you. We know why you did this."
Like it was such a weird one, but like I was like, "Thank you." But that's just my thing. I don't like clone characters in any aspect in any game. So no clone characters. Don't you dare reference Chronica in any way possible. Or like if I see this bitch on my screen, I'm done. I quit. No more Chronica, no more clone. Because we're way past the necessity for clone characters, for one. Exactly.
Like, I understood it way back in the day when things were very limited. But now, like, we don't need that shit.
Yeah, like obviously Street Fighter has a lot of Shotokai characters. But at least every single one of them, especially nowadays, play differently.
And they had their own identity.
Yeah, like that's the thing. And like obviously, like, you know, when we had like the MK back in the day, yeah, certain characters played closely, and maybe like the ninjas were like maybe 1 move differences. But I mean, again, like that's back then. Now we are come so far to where we don't need to make a character that literally has almost the same exact moveset as another character. So that's just my last gripe. That's all.
I'm with you there. I'm with you. I totally agree. Good points. I figured out my last one. This may also be controversial. I don't want the special forces to be a focus in this story.
I'm clapping this one. Ladies and gentlemen. I am all about that.
Seeing what we're seeing right now, if this ended up being another special forces story, I would be highly disappointed. I hate the special force. I went in this already. I just don't want special forces to. There's way too much interesting. There's way too many interesting things going on. From what we've seen just from this trailer, for me to give a shit about what the army's doing. I don't care about what the army's doing. I don't want to see no pew 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 guns. I want to see fire and ice and lightning and swords and shit. I don't want pew pew rockets, guns. Oh, hello, I'm fucking Sonya Blade and I have this fucking little drone here. Look at me, it's crawling on the ground like a spider. I'm here, I'm Cassie. I got also a drone, but it flies. Like, no, I'm done. I'm done with that shit.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think I opened the door.
I'm so sick of the special forces. I was actually a little disappointed to see Johnny Cage's name. Not that I dislike Johnny Cage, but that Johnny Cage is pretty much special forces, and I don't want to see special forces. But now I know I'm going to see special forces, and I'm sad.
Is it weird to say that I was happy that he wasn't in the trailer?
I didn't want to see Johnny Cage in the trailer.
I was happy that he wasn't there. Like, I mean, obviously I know that Cage is a mainstay character, and obviously in any MK game, but I was like, oh yeah, Cage is gonna be here too. Cool. That's just all I really got.
It's just annoying because every trailer's like, here's what the White Lotus is doing right now. here's the Shiaryu and the Lin Kuei are fighting. Here we go with Sub-Zero and Scorpion. You had the MK11 trailer where Raiden and Scorpion were fighting. And then the story just becomes, it's just Special Forces story. MKX and MK11. It's just, here's what the Special Forces are doing. I'm like, I don't care. That's not what I want to see. I want to see magic and people dying and shit.
I agree with you heavily. I feel like that, I hate saying it this way because this may sound controversial, but I think that's more of like an American thing. Like they wanted to obviously appease the American players more. So like I guess maybe kind of like centering it around the Special Forces in some way was like supposedly going to make us love the game more, but it didn't, because the Special Forces were barely like even like a thing in the Midway timelines. So
they weren't the focus of the story in the Midway timeline. Like I'm not saying no Special Forces. They were there. Having their role is important for sure. But having them be Mortal Kombat, it doesn't feel right to me, because Mortal Kombat is defined by its magic and mysticism and of course violence, but theme-wise about magic and, like you said earlier, fate and like rivalries, like ancient rivalries and things like that. So I don't care about modern weaponry. Having a character or two that's using modern weaponry, that's cool. You know, that works for me in a game of magic and swords and stuff. I'm cool with that. But it can't be your main character, because that's not campy, you know. But I don't like it personally when they're like the main characters, because they're the least interesting part of the whole world, and that's what we have to follow. Like I don't think that's necessary. I think we should have always been following the White Lotus, to be honest, because those are like the real protagonists. Liu Kang, Kung Lao, Raiden. Mm-hmm. We should have been fleshed out Kai in them.
Oh come on, man! You weren't you're not looking forward to maybe Stryker making a return back?
I'm one of the few that I never really hated Stryker all that much, because he rolled up with the Roscoe in a Mortal Kombat game. Even Jax and Sonya didn't roll up with guns. Sonya had her ring shot.
Jax's arms, those were guns.
Yeah, those were the guns.
Those were the guns.
But Stryker was like a beat cop, and he rolled up with a pistol. And just the pistol. He didn't even have a machine gun. He had like some grenades. And that was it. And that's what he rolled up in. That's kind of cool.
Yo, Stryker's Mortal Kombat 9 line, like police brutality coming up. That did not age well.
Perhaps the line, the most milked aged line in all of video game history. Police brutality is coming up. Like, I mean, he was right, but not in the way he wanted to be.
All right.
But yeah, that was me. That's definitely probably my most passionate point out of all 4 points I made.
Okay, so to circle back to what we were talking about in the beginning real quick. A couple theories I had with certain characters. So one theory I have that might explain Melina being here. What if she was created by Sindel to basically be a body double for Kitana? Because you know that how in royalty they always usually sometimes have like when they, especially when they're traveling, they may have like a body double to like suit and protect obviously the royal bloodline. And obviously it's not something that's like a far stretch. Like maybe in this timeline, because it kind of would make sense a little bit of why she's there. Maybe she's there to just be like a double for Kitana, and maybe eventually she kind of grows to kind of feel like she deserves more than Kitana. You know what I mean? She's like, well, I'm the one that maybe ends up getting like the shit end of the stick most of the time because I have to fight for you and I have to pretend to be you to kill like certain people. You know what I mean? So what if like, because obviously like Adena is a very like magical place, so it kind of would make sense a little bit. You know, it's not out of the realm of possibility. We don't know if maybe the Tarkatans probably could exist somewhere here, or maybe there was a deal struck to use her, like, you know, thing, or maybe they found a Cotton and was like, man, you know what would be great if we created a body double of the Katana to go with her, but it's actually not Katana, and it's actually this vicious person. So if she ever gets kidnapped, they're like, oh yeah, you definitely kidnapped the wrong person. So that's kind of...
and that would explain, that could explain why Melina has her purple scheme as opposed to, you know, adopting Katana's blue, because Tarkatans don't deal in the color purple, and neither does Shang Tsung deal in the color purple, but Melina came out fucking with the color purple. Who else fucks with the color purple? Sindel fucks with the color purple.
Yeah. So there's always that's kind of something I thought about. And I was like, you know what if that would explain it? Like, what if she clearly has like a similar backstory, but instead, because obviously Shao Kahn is obviously absent here. We don't know anything about if he may even exist in this world.
Right, as far as we know, at least.
Or yeah, as far as we know. So we don't know. But like, it would make sense because maybe like that's just what it is. Like Adenia now, like obviously like Katana has grown up all fully in Adenia. She has her mom and her dad still, and you know Sindel's not evil. Hopefully,
yeah.
Because I absolutely fucking hated that they like retconned all of that within the course of one goddamn game. Like, just why? But because they're like, oh yeah, no, she was actually evil the whole time. Like she actually killed Katana's father for Shao Kahn. Like, what?
Yeah, that shit was lame. I fully believe that is going to be retconned again. I don't think that's going to be the case this time around.
I hope not. I hope they keep it where she's like I liked it when she was a benevolent ruler, but I guess that, like I said, that would just make sense to me, because it was also strange the fact that it's like she was obviously playing with her mask and making sure she's covered up, and then obviously Katana's covered up, so her face is covered too, so you can't really tell. If you look at them, obviously, again, you can't tell who's who. So
not with the mask. Oh no, they have the same exact face aside from, you know, the obvious when it comes from the eyes.
Yeah, so I mean, and obviously you have to be up close for that. So it would kind of make sense to me.
Yeah, I mean that's not a bad theory at all. I could see that something like that being the case. I've been trying my hardest to also figure out, is this Hanzo Asashi, and is this is this Bihan, is this Kuai Liang? Because like it was just like that moment where they were staring each other down. Like I'm like, are these like like I said, like we still don't know a timeline of where we are. We don't know how early on we are. Like I also looked at the picture of Kung Lao. He does not have the razor blade on his head. He actually has a it's like a, not a ribbon, like a roped hat. Oh, so okay, yeah, like a farmer hat.
Yeah, and it's very, and Raiden's hat actually looks very much like Raiden's hat from like obviously the regular games.
You can't change Raiden's hat.
Not at all. So like obviously we got our two monks that are going to be aside of Liu Kang. That's why I'm saying, if you do a Shaolin monks mode, it would not be a bad thing.
Not a bad idea at all.
But I'm curious also how Kung Lao is going to fight. You know, obviously, you know, without like the bladed hat, is there some other like different way he's going to battle?
That's implying that this is our Kung Lao. This could still be the Great Kung Lao.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, I'm wondering if it's going to be. I believe it's the Great Kung Lao, and it would make sense. And I would love to see how he threw down.
Yeah, I'm excited to see that.
So
I think that'd be cool.
It's also interesting because on his chest, there is no white lotus on his uniform. It is a dragon. So obviously representative of obviously Fire God Liu Kang. So that's interesting too. And I'm not gonna lie to you. I keep zooming in trying to figure out if I can see the pictures of like Scorpion and Sub-Zero. Like obviously on Sub-Zero you can see the Lin Kuei symbol as plain as day on his arm piece and his chest, but every picture that I find of Scorpion, I can't zoom in enough to look at that one on his chest, and I pause the trailer and I'm like, I can't see it. It's just out of like focus for me to say. So kudos to you, Ed Boon.
Right. There's no way we can know. Everything was very deliberate the way they delivered their trailer.
Absolutely.
Which is why everything is just speculation. Even with the trailer, we're still speculating stuff, which is fun. It's fun and it's cool. I mean, obviously, guys, listen for the rest of when the trailer comes out, because you're gonna hear more from us. Oh yeah, when we get more and more, we'll be back over and over again.
Over and over again.
But that's all I have. The fact that we were able to talk so much about it, despite we having one trailer, and we still have more to talk about. We just don't have the time to talk about it. It is cool. It's interesting, and and above all, it's exciting.
Like I said, dude, I'm so hyped. I haven't been hyped like this for a Mortal Kombat game in years.
Oh yeah.
I wasn't even this hyped when 11 dropped. I think the last time I was this hyped was maybe 9. Honestly, 9 I think I was like overly excited for. So this I mean, it's been what, almost 5 years now. You know, this is a good time. This is going to be fun, and I mean, I hope that I'm optimistic. This trailer was amazing. It kind of looks like it talked about a lot of things that we talked about in the last podcast about what we would want to expect from this game. So and this year's just been a good year for fighting games, man.
Yeah, man.
Like, also, don't forget Dragon Ball Tenkaichi, Budokai Tenkaichi's coming out.
No, I forgot about that.
Yeah, so we got, what, 4 big fighting games coming out this year.
Oh, yeah. So we're eating good, so we'll be back. You'll see a lot of us coming up. So stay tuned, everyone.
Make sure you follow, subscribe, whatever you got. Listen to us on every platform.
Every platform, individually, one after the other. Same episode.
One after another. Same episode.
After you listen to it on Spotify, go to Google, listen to the whole episode there. And then after that, go to Apple Podcasts, listen to us there, and then check out the YouTube.
Wait, isn't that what you're supposed to do? That's what I've been doing.
Just listen to them all. But I'm all tapped out. Do you have any more questions or concerns, Mr. Lobo?
Not at all, man. I'm just, like I said, I'm giddy right now. I'm excited.
I'm excited as well, and Gary's excited also. What's up, buddy? So, if there's nothing else, then we can wrap up. I would like to thank you for coming on the pod with me and just spitballing pretty much about what we saw and geeking out over what could possibly be.
I appreciate you always allowing me to have the time and the space with you, man.
And so, I would like to reintroduce Loboberry Crunch.
Yeah.
He's been Loboberry Crunch. I've been Mick Whoopi Goldberg, and this has been the Bottom of the Pit podcast, where we look to the moon and swap our palettes. And we will see you on the next one.
Edwin, I know you're listening. Listen.